Hello YouTube, and welcome to this video, which is Warhammer Imperium issue 8. I'm going to jump straight into it. We've got a nice little sealed bag this time, which is going to prove rather awkward to get into. So, what do we get? We get some dice, a Necron Overlord, and a 40mm base, along with our magazine. Let's put those to the side. Sip of tea. Okay, issue 8, we get one miniature, which is our Necron Overlord. The front blurb says, a villainous Necron Overlord. Name you and customize your Necron noble. Paint your Necrons collection. So that's what we have so far. So opening the magazine up, we have straight away, as per usual when we get miniatures, our data sheet for the Necron noble. And then a battle record card on the reverse. So obviously you can photocopy this so that you don't ruin your sheet. We then come into how to build our Overlord, and this is not a push to fit mini, so you will need your glue for this. And then surprise surprise, we have how to paint your Overlord. So we're going to be using our Runelord Brass and Lead Belcher for this mini. And then in selected parts, Corax White. Now I'm assuming the Corax White will be in preparation for laying down the green glow effect later on. You're also going to use Retributor armour on some of the details for the Overlord and revisit some of the details on your previous minis. So there you go. Right. The Overlord rises. So this is a game with the Overlord and Primaris aggressors. The mission is the Necron Overlord has risen to find its command centre being torn apart by Space Marine intruders, such vandals as Space Marines. Seething at the arrogance of these lesser beings, it has risen from its personal crypt and now moves to vent its rage and eliminate the aggressors. Destroy the Overlord. Having stumbled across the lair of the Necron nobility, the Primaris aggressors have set about tearing the facility apart. Their efforts have caused the Necron leader to rise. This is an opportunity to eliminate the Overlord. It must be destroyed. So there's your setup, and it looks like it's the small battle mat that you had in the first issue to play this game. And then there's your playthrough. Okie dokie then. We shall have a look at what else you get. We get some more white dice. So we now have 12 white dice for our game, which is great because, you know, you always need extra dice, especially if you're rolling a large amount of weapons in one particular hit. Weapon, you know, the number of attacks can increase depending on whether you've charged or special rules, etc. So, you know, extra dice, always nice. Right, let's bring you down. And let's have a look at our Necron Overlord. So, here we go. You get a 40mm base. Speaks for itself. And our Overlord. Now, he does have a scale cloak, which is really nicely rendered here. And his carapace armour, etc. is, again, nicely rendered. He does certainly look the part. As I said previously, this is not a push-to-fit model. You are going to need to glue it. So obviously if you subscribed by mail order, then you would have got a small tub of glue, which looks like that, with your first issue, your first delivery. And yeah, so he looks nice. I'm looking forward to getting him built. He does have the same affliction as the Space Marines, and that is that he is standing on a Mark I tactical rock. So yeah, let's get him built. I'll be back in a sec. And we're back to build our Necron Overlord. So I must say I'm really loving this war scythe, by the way. Here we go. So the first three parts, it says, you're going to want the front of his torso, and then you're going to want the rear part of his carapace. Now, I'm in two minds as to put the carapace, the back carapace on, simply because there's some details in here which I think would benefit well from being painted before this goes on, so that it can be seen through the holes in his carapace armour. So what I think I'm going to do, if I can get away with it, is put this on last. I haven't looked at the instructions fully, but hopefully it won't be an issue to leave that off. So without further ado, let's get into building this fella. So you do have a sub-assembly, which is this tiny neck piece, which needs to go in first, and that goes into a little tab right at the base, just there. And be sure to get this right around the right way. There is keying on this part to ensure it only goes in one way. And then the front of his torso. Like that. Now his cloak sub-assembly is next, and you need to put on his cloak, and there are looking at that, it goes on that way round. So that's the way it goes on. And then once you've done that, this attaches to his lower backside. Now, I don't think I'm going to get away with not putting the carapace on, unless I can we can do that. So we can attach the rear carapace to his cloak. Like thus, and then when you're ready and you finish painting, that will just glue into place like so. So the next thing is his leg and his war scythe. So let's pop his leg on first, and looking at this, there is some keying. It's only very light keying. And it would seem it goes on about there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue him to the base at this stage for stability. And to hopefully ensure that I've got him glued correctly. So there's his base. That's not playing ball. It's not the best keying of parts for this fella. And as such, getting him into position is a little bit awkward, but there you go, that's in. And then his arm attaches to the base of his rock and into his elbow joint. Like so. There you have it. Now his head comes on next, and that is angled looking the other way. Now there is a cable which I can't determine if that's supposed to be on the outside or the inside, but it looks like there's a little boil joint at the back of his neck, back of his head, and that sits onto the top of his spine neck there. And then his orb in his other arm goes on, and that just goes on like so. So there you go, that's our Necron Overlord. I'm going to keep this rear carapace off for ease of painting, and then I shall glue it on at a later stage. But yeah, there you go, that's him. Alright, join me in the next one. Take care, bye.